Hey, this is Josh Alexander, and this is your Orange County housing market update for March 2020. So as I'm filming this today, it's raining, it's pouring, and coronavirus is soaring. So I'm going to do things a little bit different today. Usually I talk about the market in general the whole time. Today we'll talk about it at the beginning a little bit, but I really want to address what the coronavirus is doing to the Orange County housing market and how it's impacting buyers and sellers and the way they're looking for property and putting their homes on the market. Let's take a look at what's happened over the last 4 weeks in the Orange County housing market. So over the last month, demand has continued to increase by about 18%. Why is this? Just the same thing that's happened over the last couple months as interest rates are extremely low. In fact, last week they hit an all-time low, which you've probably seen all over the news because it's a big story, especially for buyers looking to purchase homes right now. In terms of supply, this is the first time I'm able to say all year that supply has actually gone up by any significant numbers. So over the last month, it's gone up by about 4%. So since January, it's really been flatline until about 2 weeks ago when it's actually started to significantly go up. And now we're looking at hopefully seeing more homes hitting the market every week as we head closer and closer to the end of the spring market and into summer. Okay, so I told you I was going to be brief about the numbers on supply and demand, so that's really all I have to say about the last 4 weeks in the housing market. So now I want to turn to what's on everybody's mind, and that's the coronavirus. So I want to talk about two things. One, how is it affecting the general housing market? And two, if you are a buyer or seller right now, how to keep yourself protected, knowing the risks, and making sure you're still able to either buy or sell your home. How is it impacting the Orange County housing market? So last that I heard, there's only been about 5 confirmed cases in Orange County of the coronavirus. And in general, the easy answer is it's really not doing much for the housing market. So if there are a few buyers that are getting scared here or there, there's another 4 or 5 buyers right behind them ready to go into escrow on that same house because interest rates are so low. So even though you are seeing some cases here and there where people are backing out of escrow, we actually just had one happen in our office where they got into escrow, the buyer traveled to South Korea, and then he got quarantined, so he had to cancel escrow. So those type of things are happening, but it's not on a massive scale. So in general, appreciation is still happening in Orange County right now. And like I said, because interest rates are so low, if one buyer backs out or 2 or 3 buyers decide to stay home, you still have a bunch of buyers right behind them, ready to take advantage of the interest rates and ready to get into escrow. So impact on the housing market as of now is pretty minimal. Okay, so buyers, what do you need to be doing to protect yourself while checking out homes during this outbreak? So the first thing is to follow the CDC's guidelines, making sure you're staying clean with your hands. If you're going to open houses, if you're going in and touring properties, that you have hand sanitizer in your car so you can apply that before to help protect the owner and also after to help protect yourself from spreading the disease. So that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Number 2 is to help prevent you from going into as many large crowds as possible. So there's a few ways you can be doing this as a buyer. So the first is to make sure you really have that list of must-haves down. And what I mean by this is you don't want to be checking out homes and going into homes that you really don't need to be going into because you know they're not going to work out for you. So make sure that you're using either Zillow, Redfin, your agent, and narrowing down those list of homes based on your must-haves, so you're really only seeing the homes that you really have a high intent to purchase. That will keep, again, you from having to go into a bunch of different homes that you know really aren't going to work out in the long run. So number 2, if you haven't purchased a home before, it's been a while, the nice thing about paperwork now is that you never really have to leave your home for 95% of it. So if you're stressed out about having to go in and sign documents across from someone on the table, that doesn't happen anymore. Everything's done through DocuSign with the exception of a few pieces of paper during escrow. So that's something you really generally don't have to worry about in today's market because, again, everything is going to be done electronically for the most part. So another thing you could be doing is if you don't want to be going to open houses, get with your agent and set up private showings for the properties you're looking at. So this is something that you can do during the weekday, you can do it during the weekends, but that basically gets you a one-on-one situation with your agent and you're not having to tour the property when there's another 30 people inside the house. Because in this market, with the amount of buyers in the market, when people have open houses, there's usually a good amount of people that are coming through them because there's a lot of buyers out there right now. So schedule private showings if you don't want to be going to open houses and getting close to a lot of people in a close proximity. So finally, one of the last things you could be doing is if you like a property, a lot of these homes now will have 3D or what they call virtual tours, where you can go in, see the layout by basically walking through it virtually. And so that's going to maybe eliminate a lot of the reasons to going into a home to look at it. Yes, most people want to still see the home in person before they purchase it, but there's a way to write a contract where you can have the contingency for a visual inspection. What that basically does is allows you to put an offer out, but saying that you do want to go check it out before you commit to going through the rest of escrow. So this does put you at a slight disadvantage, especially in a multiple offer situation, if not everybody has that contingency on there. But if you're worried about having to come in contact with a lot of people, you can put that contingency on there and say that I would love to make an offer on this house. Here it is. If you accept it, I just want to walk through it once, and then we can continue through escrow. So that is a way that you can get into escrow without visibly seeing the home, but still protecting yourself. So if you walk through it and you decide it's not for you, you have a way out. Again, in this market, it's a little bit harder to do because buyers are coming in the market every single day because of the interest rates, but it is an option out there for you. Okay, so sellers, what do you need to be doing to protect yourself and your family when placing a home on the market, knowing that because it's a hot seller's market, you'll probably have a lot of buyers coming through there, especially the first couple of weeks it's on the market? So number one is make sure before you put it on the market, your agent is getting you set up with either a 3D tour or a virtual tour, and that basically enables buyers to walk through the house virtually without having to be there. So that way, the buyers that are coming in not only see the pictures of your house, they know the layout of your house. So you're hoping at that point, you're gonna have buyers with only high intent to purchase your house coming through. So that will eliminate the amount of buyers in your house at one time. Number two, keep hand sanitizer handy. So keep it at the front door, put a sign saying, please use this when you come in, and that way everybody walking in is gonna get their hands sanitized. It's not gonna prevent 100% of spread, but it's going to take a significant chunk out of any issues with germs being spread into your house. Number three, and this is kind of obvious, but just make sure after especially large gatherings like open houses, you're going through and just taking Lysol wipes and making sure that you're disinfecting the high traffic areas that people might be walking through. Handles, counters, things like that a lot of buyers might be touching. Making sure that you're wiping those down to keep that spread at a minimum. And lastly, I already mentioned this in the buyer section as well, but if you haven't sold your home in a while, right now 95% of the documents you're filling out are going to be done online from the comfort of your couch using things like DocuSign. So if you're concerned about having to sit across the table from someone, signing stuff all day while you're going through escrow, that's just not the case anymore. Almost everything is done through DocuSign except for a few documents during escrow. So sellers, yes, you're gonna have to go through a little bit more hassle to keep your house clean and sanitized while you're showing it. But the good news is, because we're in such a hot seller's market, homes under $1 million are basically going into escrow in about 30 days or less. So what does this mean? It means that you only have to have a few open houses and a few private showings before those offers start coming in. So exposure time is going to be minimal, and right now, because the market is so hot with so many buyers entering right now, you're going to get a good price for your house and most likely get into a multiple offer situation, which is the best way to get the best price for your house. Now buyers, now is not the time to back out of the market because inventory is finally starting to go up. So your choices are going to start expanding, and over the next couple weeks, it's going to go up even quicker because now we're getting to the end of the spring market for housing, where you're going to see a flood of people putting their homes on the market because kids are starting to get out of school about 2 months from now, and that's when people want to be having their homes sold, not putting it on the market so they can move during the summertime. So you can stomach the risk of going and looking for homes right now. You're not only going to have more choices in the next couple weeks, you're getting great interest rates. If this coronavirus gets under control over the next couple weeks, I can almost guarantee you interest rates are going to start going back up, and you're going to get less and less value out of these offers that you're placing on homes. So go out, check out homes if you can. Like I said, just make sure that you have that criteria sharpened so you're not going through homes that you don't really need to be going through. So I hope this gave you a little bit of insight on how the coronavirus is affecting the Orange County housing market currently. So like I said before, the housing market is strong. We have very high demand, supply is finally starting to go up, so homes are still appreciating, but buyers are still able to take advantage of historically low interest rates. So if you're able to get into the market right now, I suggest that you continue to take precautions as the CDC recommends, but make sure you don't drop out completely, because right now is a great opportunity for both buyers and sellers in this housing market. So enjoy this little rain that we're actually getting for once in Southern California, and I'll see you again in another 4 weeks for the April Orange County housing market update.